Scorched Earth creatures, Sotif for ASA, DLC release roadmap, everything covered during the ARK Extra Life livestream. Let's go! So after a brief interlude, Zed and Zane jumped onto stream with a brief introduction after a brief praising of the community and how much had been raised for charity so far. Went on to reconfirm that the first ARK Survival Ascended event, Turkey Trials, will be with us on Friday as a sort of test trial mod event, before revealing a skin we're going to get to unlock during the Winter Wonderland event that's going to be later on in December, the very fetching Krampus skin, and during this did explain that Sotif might be out before this Winter Wonderland event. Discussing this Winter Wonderland event as an official mod, their new way of bringing mods to ARK Survival Ascended in a way that basically you'll be able to download these events and keep them forever for you to host on your single player or whatever you like to map saves. They did mention that Krampus skin will be unlocked the same way you unlock anything in a previous Winter Wonderland event, by gaining coal and mistletoe dropped by raptor claws, to which you throw into a cooking pot, and that's how you're going to be able to craft this and seemingly every other Christmas event item you get, including chibis. We will see chibis making an appearance during this event, so a great time to certainly get involved if you want one of those. After Zane hinting that the new maps and creatures look so good, meaning that they've seen them in game and they're functioning in some form or other, and a discussion with Jessica from the charity organisation, we got an interview with CurseForge, who are leading mods for ARK Survival Ascended, where Zane cracked a joke about can CurseForge figure out a way for Microsoft and Sony to talk to each other for mods, a brief leak of Wildcard staff Discord. CurseForge went on to explain how exciting the future of modding for ARK Survival Ascended is, the prize fund for this modding competition that they're putting out for modders, with a vision to bring stakeholders and studios in to make DLC level and up content, with a reiteration on top on paid mods, the advantages with these, with at least a price point offered this time between $2 to $15 on these premium mods that will see in the first quarter of 2024. And on that subject, it may have been missed earlier in the week that Atlas, the sister game of ARK, the assets for this are now allowed to be modded into ARK Survival Ascended, so we could see some very cool upscaled versions of Atlas within the Arkiverse. Zed joked about his Primitive Plus mod and getting a team together to enter into this competition, but could that mean that maybe we'll see somebody revive Primitive Plus at some point for ASA? Then after a half-hour talk about soy sauce, we got introduced to the co-founders of Studio Wildcard, Jesse and Jeremy, that got to offload the good stuff after a quite funny introduction from Jeremy explaining how ass the servers are at the moment and certainly trying to work. Good to see some honesty from the devs and understand only these guys would be able to be this brutally honest about the state of the servers. You'd never see that from anyone else, and yeah, no, more of that. Good. So it reveals our first look at the Phasolosuchus in-game, looking quite mean and fitting for the map, able to swim through dunes, with an explanation on how to tame these, that you'll have to steer them into rocks to essentially knock them out, because, you know, brute force to the head kind of hurts. With some abilities mentioned such as a DOT magnetized area, attack that stacks, and that it's going to corrode armor. Already feels a bit OP, but we'll see what that looks like when we get our hands on Scorched, and it's going to be a while. They went on to reveal that Scorched Earth, as we all expected, has been delayed until March 2024. However, not a one-to-one redo. We'll find new caves, new story elements, new secrets, and the devs wanting to tie it more to the game's lore. On top of that, a quite surprising reveal of sister expansion packs, optional paid side packs to add gameplay variety, which will drop with every single map, and this is the very first one we'll find with Scorched Earth. Adventure packs, they'll be titled as with the Scorched Earth variant being called the Frontier Adventure Pack, and with a lot of promise, structure skins, wagons, character skins, a brand new creature to add to the Phasolosuchus, but bar games, trains and railway tracks. A wide step from the ARK we know, and certainly met to a mixed response amongst the community, with this being a paid expansion pack. This won't be included in the price, but I'm going to keep a reservation on this for the moment, because if we're getting stuff like trains and railway tracks, I can see perhaps why this wouldn't be a thing that's included within the official vanilla offering. Like, I'll be going full-blown Minecraft sandbox alternative ways to play ARK. It certainly suggests as much, and if it detaches from the vanilla offering so much, then I guess fair enough, it's a separate expansion pack. Is it going to be pay to win? A few people have been mentioning that. I'm still quite reserved on what this exactly entails, how much it's going to be. But what the devs did say this and future adventure packs will enable is their whole team to be focused on ARK Survival Ascended, and it to be the game to continue with no mention of ARK 2 on top, leading me to wonder, is ARK 2 canned? It wasn't mentioned once throughout this entire stream, and with those words, their whole team to be focused on ARK Survival Ascended, does leave me thinking, is this a possibility? Hopefully they'll confirm in the coming weeks. After revealing Soti Survival of the Fittest is coming to ARK Survival Ascended on December the 20th, where it'll be able to be modded from day one as well, offering a wide range of opportunities, and we'd see gameplay of this later on in the stream. They went into detail on the dates of the maps, when to see them. Kindly mocked up by Jukari on Twitter allowed us to see that Scorched Earth again is in March, Center in May, Aberration in July, Rag on September, Extinction October, a surprise project for November, which could possibly still be ARK 2, could be ARK Mobile. They said it's a gaming thing, didn't go into more detail than that. Or could it be a story DLC? I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. Valguero to drop in December, then into 2025, Gen 1 in Feb, Crystal Isles in April, Gen 2 in May, Lost Island in August, Fjorda in October, then to expect new story maps after that to take us through to 2025. Again, certainly feels like ARK 2 is vanished into thin air, with a, I guess, possibly bright and prosperous future for ARK Ascended and whatever maps are to come following the maps we already know reimagined in ARK Survival Ascended. I joked in a bingo reveal thing with Syntac on Twitter that we'd see delay, and we certainly got them. The original roadmap that we saw earlier in the year has now, well, seemingly been abolished with these new subject to change dates, and I'd expect them to probably change. 2 months between each map, considering that Scorched Earth is taking 4 months. I don't know, man. I could see this possibly stretching out even further, and we'll see the likes of Fjorda and Lost Island possibly into 2025. With one more delay revealed, ARK, the animated TV series, is now been pushed into 2024, with the reasons being the last half of the season is still in post-production. Who knew animations took this long to turn around? Those were Jeremy's words. But at least a tease of a new shot and some new music performed by Gareth Coker. And then possibly perhaps some of the biggest news during the extra live stream, Cryos. Cryos are coming. The devs have decided that due to server performance and certainly time limits, that Cryos will be coming to the island, and within the next 2 weeks, in a later mentioned comment by Zane. So they're coming. The devs have backtracked on their plan to drop DLC content as and when those maps come to us. So who knows if we're seeing things like that? Could we be seeing things like egg incubators sooner than we think? After that, we were treated to a first look at Sotif, played by Craig Brown, and yeah, it looks great. It almost looked pretty similar, at least in the UI sense, to ARK Survival Evolved. It was a bit of a shame, actually, that the Discord streaming quality didn't showcase this as to how much better looking this should be. However, we did get to see a new looking Quetz bus build, that the Cinemac Crops glider that you use to get to your locations has now been replaced with a Dimorph. Region names seem to be much more clearer now for easier callouts. The new redesigned drops, of course, now within this version of Sotif. And it appeared, and it makes sense, that we've only got island content throughout this, so things like net guns we won't see in this version of Sotif at launch. Bags dropped seem to be bigger to find easier, and dino crates, I never got to see one in game. Usually in the original Sotif, these would give you DLC dinos, but seeing that we're restricted to island content, what these dino crates are, nobody knows. Maybe they're Gigas and Carkas, perhaps. We didn't get to see them in any Sotif streams, not in this one, not in the latter two that followed afterwards. Though we did get to see some flag painting, and I guess we'll get some more creative illustrations there with more colours to use. But of course, crossplay is the big thing with this one this time around. We're finally all going to be able to crossplay against each other. That's Steam, PlayStation and Xbox, and Windows 10 hopefully at the same time. And I hope that at the very least that the INI settings that we're all seeing on the base game of Ark Survival Ascended will not be in this version. That really is a make or break for this. The devs seem to want this to be the one to succeed, the one to really bring in the masses. So I hope to see a lot of support from this from day one. You got to give us some form of unlockable items for wins or whatever in there. I think that is such a much needed missing piece that we didn't get with Sotif so far. I hope to see that on day one. Then after a community interacted creature drawing from Clayton that we see every year, this one looking pretty cute, they had GG Fizzon going through the building of Ark Survival Ascended, showing off his build and how he created this certainly wonderfully looking castle. Svala playing Ark, where she went through to try and beat the Broodmother. Nakatus joined discussing his mod Svartalfheim, that said certainly butchered to pronounce, but we got there in the end.
It's Svartalheim.
It's Svartalfheim.
Svartalfheim.
Yeah.
Svartalfheim.
Yeah.
Close.
I don't think I can hit those syllables you're hitting. But I have to practice on those. Well, I'll hit you up one day, and I'm going to surprise you with how good I've got him.
A Hall of History fan art section going through all the wonderfully lovely created art by the community, with said closing out with a timeline brief history of Ark Survival Evolved from its inception to its closure of servers in September. Yeah, a bunch of cool, great reveals. Though I've got to say, it was a shame not to see no trailers this time around. I think this is the first time in a long time we've had an Extra Life event with no trailers. But I appreciate ASA is just fairly new, and the devs are probably working to try and meet these very tight turnaround times for all the maps that are coming around to us in next year. There's a lot of content on the horizon, though a certain concern for anything between now and March, with Scorched Earth dropping then, and I guess left in the hands of modders. What mods will we see over the next few months? What mods will pull through to be premium DLC level mods? There could be a bright and prosperous future with that, certainly. And what is up with Ark 2? It really felt like Ark 2 had gone. I don't know, that was the impression I was left with. Has Ark 2 been abandoned, with them certainly wanting to push Ark Survival Ascended as hard as they can over the next few years? But a great amount raised for a great cause, and look forward to seeing all of these things in the flesh like this for Solasuchus. How did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it? Comment below. Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I ain't gonna lie, I am tired after trying to be awake throughout the entire 24 hours myself. My throat is going, as you can hear. Well, the throat doesn't go, my throat remains. It's my voice that's going. But yeah, me and Jade will probably try and get together to discuss this in a live stream in more depth if you want to tune into that. And there you go. Until the next one, my name's Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, peace out.